I will for sure.
All right. Well, good evening. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. This is our information session for the Fauquier Cares Scholarship Fund, and we are super excited to be partnering with Fauquier County on this initiative, and we are calling this the Big Reset. And the idea here is that we know a lot of people have, everybody's been impacted by COVID in one way or another, but we're looking forward to sunnier days ahead. And the idea here is that, there are a lot of folks rallying around and coming together to really help one another and look forward to what brighter days are ahead after we get through COVID. So that's the focus of this information session, and it's definitely the goal of the CARES Scholarship. So what is this CARES Scholarship and how does it work and what does it apply to? Hopefully, as I go through the slides on this slideshow, it'll start to make a little bit more sense, but if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box, or you can ask me as we get closer to the end of the presentation. Again, my name's Carlene Hurdle. I'm the Workforce Director for the Fauquier campus, and I have my colleague on with me, Michelle Cribbs. She's one of our coaches and advisors at our campus. And, if you have any questions at all, you can always reach out to either one of us. We're pretty well known for assisting folks and help. If we don't have the answer, we'll get you the answer. We'll help steer you in the right direction. So again, this is the Big Reset, and I'm trying to make sure that I can advance slides here. Sorry, there we go. So the idea of the CARES Scholarship is that it is intended to assist folks who are looking to either enhance, start, or change careers in the midst of what all is going on in COVID. And it does pay 75% of tuition up to $2,000 per individual, and I'll help do all that math here in just a little bit. And it's for any workforce classes, and I just want to really stress that it is for any of our classes, whether they're online classes, in-person classes, credential classes. If we have it available, this scholarship applies. And then I even want to say, dream big. If we don't have it available, but you really want to take it, tell us and let us see what we can do to find a couple of other folks that may be interested. Our classes typically run with small numbers, so sky's the limit. So just really be thinking about, what sort of change do you want to make, and how can we play a part in that and provide some funding to make that happen. I'm going to kind of backtrack here just a little bit and tell you what Workforce Solutions is. We are a part of Lord Fairfax Community College, but we're the non-credit side. We're the side of the house that really aligns with businesses and individuals for relevant workforce training programs. And what I mean by the word relevant is that we work with businesses to understand what the demand is. So we will go out and work with businesses in our region to understand where are the jobs posted, what sort of skills does that align to, and then we build programs that directly lead to high demand and self-sustaining wage jobs. And the programs that we offer, are part of the fastest way out of poverty. We've done a lot of studies with the United Way and the ALICE population, and it has been proven that these credential courses that are aligned with industry standards and they lead to industry-specific skills are the fastest proven way out of poverty. So we're really excited about that. Not saying that everybody's in that situation, but just that these are skill-based programs that are aligned to employers ready and waiting with open jobs. I think that's important. It's a little bit different than what you might think about when you think about a community college and an associate's program. These classes take place in weeks or months instead of years. Just to give you an idea, here's a little bit more. This is a cover of our catalog, give you a little bit more information about what it is that we do. This is Josiah Shortridge. He's actually Pastor Shortridge's son. If you know him, he's in Bealton, but he went through our HVAC program and he now works for Micron Technologies. And so this is just one of the success stories that we highlight. We stopped using stock photographs years ago because we figured out that our students and their stories were way more compelling than anything that we could find in stock photography. So we highlight our students, we highlight the stories, and we print them in our catalog so that people can really identify, like, hey, that could be me. So the things that we offer, I mentioned, are in-demand career training. We have over 1,000 courses offered each year. Some are online, some are in person, some are hybrid. They can be as short as a 3-hour workshop. They can be as long as a 9-month apprenticeship program. All of our industry experts are professionals that are working or have worked in the field. For example, our trades instructors are typically master certified instructors. Many of our programs are offered for credential seeking professionals. So you think about licenses such as the trades, you think about credentials in healthcare, credentials in IT or cybersecurity. And then we also have fast track programs for those that really need to get through their training in a short period of time. So we even offer training to organizations at their location. So we offer a corporate training leg as well. And again, as I go through this, I'm going to talk a little bit about funding streams. Many of those funding streams are applicable to businesses as well. So just keep that in mind. If you do want to flip through our catalog, I'm always amazed at technology. We have one of these flip docs on our website. So you just go to lfccworkforce.com/catalog, and you can literally flip the pages as if you're holding one in your hand. If you do want a print copy, we always have those too, and we can get you on our mailing list so that you can start receiving those. But if you want to look at it online, lfccworkforce.com/catalog. So some of our career pathways, as I mentioned, are in healthcare. So some of those credentials, just to give you an idea, would be medical assisting, phlebotomy, pharmacy tech, patient care services rep. Those are some of our healthcare credentials. I will tell you that our medical assisting program is wildly popular and already full until July of 2021. Part of the reason for that is Fauquier Health does pay a sign-on bonus for a lot of our medical assistants here in our community. So, it is a very popular program, really, really great pay. The jobs are out there. Similarly situated is information technology. We do the CompTIA, Cisco, AWS Cloud, and all the Microsoft certifications. So we even do a computer basics course, which I think is fantastic if you have someone who somehow just didn't end up with those sorts of skills, but needs some place to start. That computer basics course is fantastic. And our instructor that teaches that really is patient and has a lot of additional resources and help. We have computers that in the classroom, so that they don't even have to own a computer. They can come up and use the computers that we have at our campus. I think everybody knows that logistically, we couldn't probably have enough commercial drivers right now. So we do offer Class A and Class B. These licenses are, through the DMV. We can train in as little as 20 days. Our full-time commercial driver's license A is a 20-day program. So you could be, in 20 days, you could be ready to take your test at DMV. I can't speak for the backlog at DMV, but I can tell you that we can train you in a very short period of time to be ready to take that licensure test. Of course, we have all of the trades, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, all of those apprenticeship programs. And again, those guys have not slowed down in COVID. And if you ever wonder what the need is in those, try calling a plumber or HVAC person. It's hard to get. We do align with a lot of the local companies. So if you have someone who wants to get started in a level 1, we can usually connect them with an organization that is hiring. And then in the construction field, we have one of the first in-state heavy equipment operator programs. It's taught on simulators, so we can teach it all year round and we can teach it indoors. And that is aligned to a guaranteed interview. And we have a very robust partner in the HCCA, which is the Heavy Construction Contractors Association. And they provide all of the businesses. They represent about 175 companies. And so they work with us in partnership to put together the guaranteed interview. So those guys get hired. And we have some phenomenal success stories out of that. We've even been using it as a reentry program. If you have anyone who has maybe a criminal background or anything like that, construction and trades are very forgiving areas. So we always want people to understand that there's always an opportunity for a second chance, no matter what maybe the past has looked like. So those are positions that we're really excited about, because we do get the opportunity to work with folks who maybe need that second chance. And then, of course, construction project management is huge. And our partner with the HCCA has a great phrase that he uses. We coin it all the time. And he talks about the silver tsunami. And what that means is all of those folks that are aging out and retiring. And so what it's creating is a workforce gap. And so if someone gets involved in these programs at the ground level, they have a very fast trajectory up the career ladder, particularly in construction and heavy equipment. So those are areas that we know are, the job gap is like 5,000 construction workers that are needed just in our area. And that's because of all the incredible infrastructure projects. So I could sit and talk about construction for a long time, and I don't want to take up all the time on that, but I do want to sort of plant the seed that there is something for everyone. I think if you look across that career pathways, you'll see that there is some area that we can get folks in that they could be interested in. And all of these credentials are stackable. So if you get one in CompTIA, let's say you get CompTIA IT fundamentals, then you stack on the A+, and then you stack on the Security Plus or the Network Plus, and it just continues to move up that career pathway. Okay, I talked about the heavy equipment operator program. And what I want to do is just go through an example of how CARES Act funding would work for this. It's an 88-hour in-classroom program. There is an online component to it as well. And so the online piece is really just for the student to have their ebook, and all of their homework and assignments are done online. And then when they come to class, they focus on learning the in-class portion and then doing the simulator time. So that's offered on weekdays or weeknights. The full rack rate tuition on it is $2,994. And I mentioned that for a Virginia resident who has lived in Virginia for 12 months, the state will pick up 2/3 of the tuition. So just on that qualification alone, it reduces the tuition down to $998. If you add on the Fauquier CARES Scholarship, which pays 75% of the 1/3, again, I already did the math for you because I know it gets a little tricky. Now the student is only paying $249.50. So it's basically 92% off that full tuition price. So, I mean, for $249.50, they can take this class. We've embedded in it a guarantee interview, and then get employed into a position in that field. So I think that's a really, really good price. If for some reason they still, there's a financial need, there is some additional financial assistance that we can layer on. Instead of the scholarship, we would use, it's called FANTIC. It pays 90% of the 1/3. So they would have to elect one or the other. So they either are going to get it for $249.50 or they're going to get it for $99.80. Either way, it makes the class extremely affordable. I'm going to move on to another example, maybe. There it is. So I talked about our medical assisting program. I can tell you that our January class is already full, and we have a waiting list, which we've started. We may be able to open up a few seats in it because we did reduce the number of seats to keep the social distancing up. If anything changes with that, we would be able to add a few seats in. So we do have a waiting list. That program is 160 hours. It takes about 5 months. It's weekdays or weeknights. Again, the full rack rate is $3,195, but with the fast forward tuition price for Virginia residents, it drops down to $1,065. If you layer on the CARES scholarship price, then it's $266.25. Again, a 92% savings off the full price. And then I did some other programs just to kind of give you a quick glance of if you use this CARES scholarship, these would be the prices to take these classes. And I just really wanted to show the value that you get out of that. I mean, a CDLA for $375, I can't tell you anywhere else you could get it for that cheap. Phlebotomy, you can be fully certified as a phlebotomist for $166.25. Farm tech, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, all right at about $200. PMP certifications, which are in a very high demand in our area, $349. And then again, I mentioned that computer basics, and I put that down there because we do see a lot of folks in Fauquier needing, especially older folks, needing that computer basics course, $50. So I think that makes it very, very affordable. Now I want to shift a little bit and talk about the actual application and the qualification for the CARES scholarship. I will just be completely and totally transparent here that the guidelines for this say that you just need to be financially impacted by COVID. And what does that mean? It's a very loose definition, and basically what it says is if you can articulate in a few sentences any sort of financial impact to you directly, indirectly, in your household, anything like that, then this would apply. So I would ask anyone to at least give it a good consideration. You don't have to be unemployed. There's not a lot of really strict, tight restrictions on this, and we need to spend the money. So please consider how you might have been impacted. I think most of us can say that we have been impacted in some way or another, and we'd be happy to work with you in understanding this. But I think the big thing is that this does apply to most residents within Fauquier County, and it applies to any of the classes that we offer. So there are some listed on the application. Those classes are there for a recommendation, but you're not limited to just those classes. So just know that going forward. I did put this really fun QR code on the screen. If you hold your camera up to it, you hold your smartphone camera up to it, it'll take you straight to the application. And I always geek out on these things. I just think they're really cool. So if, we put it up there, so if you wanted to get to it, you could just hold your phone up to it and take a picture of that QR code. So we have a challenge. We have a challenge we're throwing down for everybody that listens to this information session, and we call it our Share It Challenge. We are on all sorts of social media. I don't know a whole lot about social media, primarily because I just do Facebook, and that's about it. It's probably my age. My kids are a lot cooler than me, and they have 9 other social media accounts. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook. So if you have any social media, find us. We're LFCC Workforce Solutions. Share this information out. Share it far and wide. We also have the QR code up again for the application. And if you can't remember that, just remember lfccworkforce.com/FC, which stands for Fauquier County. And that will take you to a page that describes everything that we're talking about in the information session. And a recording of this information session will be posted on the website at that location. And this is where I turn it back over to you guys to say, what kinds of questions do you have? And what can I do to help?
Colleen, there's a question that asks, is there a number of, a limit to how many classes that someone can take? So maybe one class is only $300. Can they still access that balance?
Sure. So the balance on the $2,000 is the portion that the county pays. So you have to remember how much they paid. So it's not up to $2,000 of the student portion. It's up to $2,000 of what the county has picked up. So that usually, if you look at the class prices, that'll usually get a student at least 2 classes, depending on price. Like if you do the $50 computer basics course, you could do a lot more. So anywhere between 2 and 5 courses, I would say. It just depends on the class. But if someone wanted to get into one of our trades, for instance, they could pay through this scholarship for maybe a level 1 and a level 2 for the price that they would normally pay for just a level 1, and go ahead and register for both classes and have that taken care of ahead of time, so that when they get to that level 2, they don't have to come back out of pocket. And we generally can help folks find a job during their level 1 courses. Any other questions I can answer?
Are there any age restrictions, Carlene? That's a common question that I get from the community when I'm out talking about programs at LFCC is, someone says, I have a 17-year-old that wants to do this, maybe in the evenings, they don't have a heavy high school course load. Can you just share a little bit about, age restrictions on any of the programs?
Sure, sure. So that's a great question because especially right now, I think a lot of these high schoolers are looking for additional things to do. Most of our classes are taught evenings and weekends. We do have a few daytime classes. And depending on the course, there are some low age limits. Like for instance, our CompTIA, you only have to be 14. And some of those CompTIA certifications actually count for credit. So if someone wanted to get started in CompTIA, that's certainly a great one, age 14 and up. Our trades classes, 16 and up. So think about your CTE classes that your student it probably isn't getting much value out of right now if they're having to do them all virtual. Our trades classes are still in person and hands-on. They meet one night a week from 6 to 10 p.m. I can tell you honestly, they're generally done before 10. So if that kind of freaks you out as a mama to have them out until 10, you know, we can get them out before that. But you know, I think our healthcare classes are 18 and then our CDL is 21. But definitely available for high school kiddos, and our heavy equipment operator also 18. But it does open up some opportunities for graduating seniors to really think about maybe doing this instead of or in addition to some college courses, just to be able to get out and have that, you know, good paying job in the meantime. And we had a high school class go through our HEO, and those boys were being offered some really nice salaries straight out of high school. Pam Wands, I see you on here. Do you have any questions, friend? She's muted.
I say it's hard to unmute sometimes.
Hi there. She chatted us.
What is the best way for students to access registration? Is it self, you know, registration online? Do they need to contact someone at the office and at the campus to help guide them through the registration process? I know, you know, action steps sometimes are easy to know or helpful to know up front so people know what to expect.
Certainly if they want to use the scholarship or any of our financial assistance, it might be best to come by the community college and let us sit down and have the conversation, because depending on the situation, we might be able to steer them to a number of different funding options. Right now, there's even a private organization known as Virginia Ready that is paying anyone who completes their credential, they're paying them $1,000 upon completion. So you might even get paid to go to school at this point. You know, if you take a plumbing level 1 at $200 and then you finish it and you file it with Virginia Ready and they give you $1,000 back, you're $800 to the, you know, to the good on that class. So definitely let us help you navigate that. Yes, many of our registrations can be done online, but in order for the scholarship funding to take place, we do have to do that as an in-person registration just to get the paperwork done correctly. And then it does require a thank you note. And that's just for us to be able to send back to the county to show, you know, what has occurred and who's been helped. So those types of things. We do have the application available online, but we would say, please come by one of our offices. You can visit us at our Fauquier campus or our Middletown campus.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if you answered this one. If the classes don't overlap or the certifications don't overlap, can you take multiple and have that help cost used on each one of those?
Yes. So it's a $2,000 per person maximum, and it's calculated off of the 75% portion that the county's picking up. So if we go back to, let me see if I can go back in my, oh, I can. Okay, if I go back in my slides, so this example here with the medical assistant, the fast forward price is $1,065 and the scholarship price is $266. So the difference of that, I'm not great with math, but is about $750. I'm just going to use round numbers. Let's say that's that. So that would leave you with $1,250 to use for another class. So depending on the price of the class, you could probably get 2 to 3 classes out of the scholarship money. So yes, it is available for multiple classes. And again, we track that on a student by student basis so we can tell you how much is left and help navigate additional classes. And we would register the student. We need to get all the registrations in by December 11th. That's the cutoff date for us to process all of these applications and get the registrations. But you can take any class that's available from now until June 30th of 2021.
Got it. Thank you.
Quick question, Yamra Brookins. So you need to register first, and then what about the registrar? Are you going to be paying at the time of registration, and how does that work?
Yeah, so that you would pay your student portion at the time of registration, and that's what holds your seat in that class. Okay. So if it's if it's this medical assistant class, the student would give us their application for the fast forward, the application for the scholarship, and then they would pay the $266.25. We'd register them in the class, and then they are in.
Excellent, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now I see your question in the chat. Perfect. And I will say that I feel like this is just one of the best kept secrets right now. We have done a pretty full-blown marketing push on it. We've gotten information out through social media. We've done some flyers. We've done quite a bit of marketing. But even when I picked up the phone and called some folks that, you know, had been on the fence about taking some classes, or maybe fell outside of the financial assistance parameters, but still couldn't afford the fast forward price, just calling and having those conversations, it's like the light bulb starts going off. Oh, this, I qualified. This is for me. So if we can encourage you to help us be ambassadors for this and help the county spend money. I mean, how often is it that you get an opportunity that somebody says, here, I just want to give money to help this situation? And I just feel like as a community, it's the right thing for us to do, and we can help one another, and we can make our community stronger and better and feed the business pipeline of jobs that's right here in our own backyard. And I don't know, that's what gets me up in the morning. I love doing this kind of stuff. And, you know, if we can help folks and we can get people, you know, skilled up, I think it's the right thing to do. So I would just ask all of you to help us get this message out and pass it along. And, you know, lfccworkforce.com/FC, really easy to remember. And that takes people right to it. Also the QR code, if you want to scan that with your smartphone, then you have it. It takes you, again, you can even take a picture of it if you wanted to, so that you can pass it along. But again, I just want to throw down our Share It challenge. I've shared it on my Facebook page a few times. I'm always amazed when people say, oh, I could do this. So, you know, just remember that the definitions for financially impacted are pretty broad, so that most people can gain access to this funding. And we're really looking forward to it. We really enjoy working with folks and creating new success stories every single day. So we're just asking you to help us share the good news. If there's not any other questions, I'm going to flash my my contact information up there. You can always reach out to me. If you want to call, I know Michelle's always available to help people, especially if you have someone who just absolutely does not know which direction to go. We can still help with that. Michelle's fantastic at working with people. I know you probably are killing me for saying that, but it's true. She's even helped some of, you know, she helps all of our kids because they won't listen to us, but they'll listen to her. So if you need someone to help steer your kiddos or steer some youth, she's really, really good at that. And again, you know, we have this multitude of pathways, so I'm sure we have something for everyone. Well, I will say this, if there's not any other questions.
I think that's it. You covered the last one for Yanriel, and I'm going to follow up with an email to you as well with the QR code, just so you have it in hard copy.
Thank you all very much for joining. We really look forward to working with anyone that you can send our way. Yamriel, if you can think of any ways that we might even be able to come out and speak to folks there, or maybe come out with some applications or anything like that to help your folks out, we'd be more than happy to do that. Just reach out to either me or Michelle and we can make it happen.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.